Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
So as you can see here, the battle previous to this one, I unlocked the Type 87 SPAA for Japan. The battle previous to that, I had very nearly spaded out the M42 Duster. This is a high-tier Japanese tank battle from the 16th of February. Thank you all for stopping by. Good morning, everyone. So, the previous battle to this battle here, I had unlocked the Type 87. But the battle previous to that, like I said, I had almost spaded out the M42 Duster. So I did not put the Type 87 in my lineup yet, just so that I could finish spading out the Duster, get the modification tier research boost bonus for finishing the 4th tier of mods, and then garage the M42 Duster and put the Type 87 in my lineup to replace it. So here we are with the STB-1, heading for the C point as normal. If you've never seen me drive the STB-1 before, I keep 2 smoke shells loaded in the first slot so that I can fire smoke ahead of myself as I'm trying to assault a position. Or sometimes on this map, I'll actually fire the smoke where the enemy campers are going to be and just mess up their shots and take them out of the battle for the first few seconds that I can with the smoke. Then I switched over my ammo to my Heat FS rounds, which are my preferred ammo for the STB-1, and rolled up into the C point for the capture. I fired smoke here, but I drove past the smoke to use actual buildings as cover to kind of camouflage where I was hiding. And about half a second later, I see somebody coming from the enemy team back around, get into an ambush position, and sure enough, Object 906 rushing to get around our guys at C, and I'm able to take him out with a one-shot. So, pretty good start in the STB-1. Finished the capture at C, adding to the good start in the STB-1. And sat still for the moment. I can see an enemy coming. I'm waiting, hoping to try and reload some of my smoke here. Though I can see enemy tanks coming, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to move before too long, and it's now clear that it's a Type 6 or a T-62. And it's also pretty clear that he doesn't actually see me, so he's got a friend with him that's an M60 who probably is going to spot me before too long, however, so I've got to kind of figure out what I want to do about this. I don't think the M60 sees me, so I'm setting up for an ambush on him here. Sure enough, he drives in. I get his gunner, his driver, and his track. He's stuck in position, and I'm going to beat him in the reload. So we finish off the M60, and then we go and try to find what happened with the T-62. We've got a Leopard moving in behind him, so I'm not sure where the T-62 is here, but I'm pretty confident that he's going to be dealt with. Or probably already has been dealt with. So, I put my artillery on what is most likely an Object 120, camping over near the river. And then we're going to move forward once our smoke is reloaded, and see what we can do about the guys at the B point. So, smoke is now reloaded. Time to roll out. Just take another sweeping look over here just to be sure that our friend the T-62 isn't lurking somewhere, having backed off and not been killed, but I'm pretty sure he's been dealt with. So in the background there, you can see what looks like some sort of a light tank moving. I'm trying to get into a position where I can see him beyond all these trees. Line up, do a search, pick him up, and I have just enough time to get a snap reaction shot on him. And I hit him and took out his cannon breech, but unfortunately didn't finish him, nor did I disable him. Or disable his mobility, rather. So he gets in, hidden behind buildings over at the A point, but at least the team knows he's there. So now, that Object 120 that's getting spotted. Well, the SPG that turns out to be an Object 120. You can see guys getting marked back here to my right, and I'm moving in, trying to spot the guy that's right up here. Of course, I can't actually see him. And we had somebody just back here by the river. I'm looking for him. I'm not seeing him anywhere. I'm not sure if that's going to be... There's the M41 getting knocked out. He had repaired his breach, so I didn't get an assist on him. And then if you look down in the river there goes the Object 120 that had been previously spotted. So I'm going to put artillery up in front of him, so he'll either have to drive into it or stop. And then I'm going to line up behind him for a shot into the top of his turret. Now he stopped. I thought he was going to camp there, so I tried to get a crippling shot into the top of his turret, but I couldn't hit him with the angle I was shooting at. However, he doesn't seem to know where he just got shot at, possibly thinking it was the artillery. I get a lovely side shot into his turret, take out some of his turret crew and his cannon drive and his cannon breach, or his turret drive and his cannon breach. And I'm going to charge up on him. There's almost no way he can repair and swap out his gunner fast enough before I'm going to get there and get another shot on him. And that is the case as I detonate the ammo in the back of his turret and finish him off. So again, now I'm going to drop smoke and then drive beyond the smoke so that the smoke is behind me, on the side, in between myself and the enemy spawn. And particularly in between myself and the enemy sniper camping ridge. And move in to decap the B point. So you can still see some guys getting marked up there. The C point is fairly well open. There is a Kugelblitz over there, so there's a bit of cover. You can spot what looks like an Object 906 or maybe a Chieftain up there. I can't quite get a shot at him. He gets a shot at me, so I just back off to finish off the cap before I get taken out. Somebody's shooting from up on top of their sniper ridge, and you can see a heavy tank has been marked up there. It'll turn out that that's an IS-4. So I can see him getting marked up there. I'm hoping that I can get clear of his gunfire here before he gets his reload and get behind this little bit of berm here. There's a Chieftain Mark III somewhere that just knocked out my squad mate in the RU-251. I'm pulling around the corner here. I get lined up and just barely get off a shot on the IS-4 and kill him before he's able to get a shot at me, thankfully. Now there goes a pretty obvious Object 906. So I'm rolling up to intercept him because there's our teammate in the Kugelblitz up there firing at something that is not the Object 906. So there's a medium that he's shooting at and there's a 906 on their way. So Kugelblitz definitely needs a little bit of backup. So I don't see the Object 906 here. The Kugelblitz gets taken out by now what we know is a T-54. And the Kugelblitz didn't quite leave me the amount of room I wanted to be able to make a fast pass around here and get after the T-54, who does not have his gun pointed at me. But I fired artillery at him, and I waited for him to move and react to the artillery coming. Should have shot him in the turret, went for a one-shot kill with his hull and didn't get it, and then as I back up, there's our friend in the Object 906. So back up, waiting for the Object 906 to show his face again. Get a kill damage assist on the T-54, and then before the 906 shows him, I get hit by an Object 120 back from their spawn. So, seems like a good time to ring in the Duster. I know where there's an Object 906. That's a pretty easy kill for a Duster with armor-piercing rounds. Plus, after all, we're gonna go good position to win this, and I want to spade out the Duster so I can bring my Type 87 into my lineup and replace the Duster. The Type 87 is, in nearly every respect, a massive upgrade and improvement over the M42 Duster. The only places where it's not an improvement are in the height of its vertical profile. It's much taller, and it's a little bit more sluggish to get moving than the M42. When I talk about Japan, I want to call everything Type. Whether it's the M42 or the T62, my brain wants to say Type if I'm talking Japan. I got a hit on the probably Object 906 with my artillery, which that alone may have been enough score to spade out my M42 here. But in just about every other respect, then the vertical profile and the slight sluggishness of the Type 87, it's an incredible upgrade over the Duster. Rate of fire, penetrating ability, anti-air capability especially. very much an upgrade, and I was very pleased to finish the research, even though it nearly bankrupted me with what little Silver Lions I had left at that point. Because I had also just bought the AMX-30 DCA prior to that as well. So I found my friend in the Object 906. I got pretty good hits into him, started him on fire, figured I was dead after I took pretty good follow-up hits from the T-54 here, but if you look to the right, you'll see that the fire has not gone out in our friend the Object 906 yet. And there it is. He burned out and detonated, so pretty confident that's going to be my spaded out M42 Duster. So I had called out to the team that there were 2 at sea, and then the Object 906 exploded, and I said, okay, just 1. But there is a T-54, so I'd like to get back in and bomb him out at sea before he caps it back from us. Enter the R2Y2 with the big ol' bomb. So you can see there's a fair amount of aircraft up, however, thankfully most of them are ours. Now, you'll notice our T-54 friend has just decapped C and is heading through to go to B. So I tried to lead him with the bomb here, which actually wasn't too bad of a drop. But I only got his barrel and his tracks, which is not a bad effect for the bombs, but would have much preferred to have simply just killed him out. Especially since the enemy team moves into the A point shortly after, and our friend is still alive here, halfway near the B point. But a suicidal 190 Dora finishes him off, which is, of course, not what I want to see, but I'm not going to lie, I suicide bomb guys sometimes. So I strafe our friend, the Chieftain Mark III, over at the A point to mark him for the team. And then as I'm rolling back up, a Yak-17 comes up and finishes off my wings as I'm in a climb, so, whatever. Just gives me an opportunity to get back into a tank, which our team really needed more at that point anyways. So for a moment of utter, I don't know what I was thinking, I had the Type 60 lined up, and then thankfully came to my senses and switched back over to the Type 61. And then see one of the funnier things I've seen lately in a high-tier tank battle. Somebody flying a Chaika, and not only is he flying a Chaika, but he's flying a Chaika chasing a 109G. Well, there's also a Yak-17 up, so quite a span of years there from the Chaika up to the Yak-17, with a 109G in between. But it was kind of time to focus on the capture points here, so I wasn't really mad that the Yak-17 had shot me down, because we definitely needed to get tanks going again. So I found this T-44-100 just a little out of position forward up near our spawn. But I'm sure he was definitely lost on his way to the capture points and not trying to go for the spawn. Unfortunately for him, my heat rounds took out his turret crew and then took out his turret altogether. For my 6th kill of the battle with the Type 61. We've got a light tank over at C capturing, and I'm going to roll on into the B point, get the capture, and swing the ticket bleed back in our favor. There was a brief moment where they had turned the ticket bleed around in their favor, but thankfully their team was mostly hiding back inside their spawn. Smoke shells are such a great thing, especially if you're trying to capture, since you just have to sit there vulnerable forever. And the Tiger 2P takes out the Chieftain Mark III over at A, which was basically the biggest threat left, as the rest of the team are in aircraft. Or, well, they were. One of them less now. However, there is a MiG-9 and a Chaika up, and they also both just crashed out. So all three of them were in aircraft, and they crashed out. Now, I thought the MiG-9 and the Chaika had crashed into each other, which I don't believe they did. I'm thinking that they were all jaying out of their aircraft to get back into tanks, but still. Finished up the B point cap. Our team is decapping the A point. And like I said in the chat, sure, I'll be quiet once we win the battle. So, like right now. And that was it. First place in a victory. Slight comeback at the end, but we really had control of the battle from pretty much the start. It was a pretty decent fight, though. So, like I said, I ended up in first place with 6 kills, 2 assists, and 3 captures. And, of course, did spade out my M42 Duster, like I wanted. Had some pretty good research on my engine for my STB-1. And there you can see the teams and all of the awards. And the kill feed. And as you'll see coming up, there is the research bonus I got for finishing all the tiers of research towards my Type 74 from the research for my M42 Duster. So don't forget to spade those vehicles out. That'll do for today. Thank you all for stopping by and checking this one out. I hope everybody has a great day. See you next time.